Now come here, I'll tell you how to be a rat. If you can't frighten a lady right from underneath her hat, then you're not rat enough to be a rat.
What's going on, guys? Senpai here. So today we're going to be talking about Battlefield 2042. We're going to cover the good, the bad, the ugly. I'm going to give my first impressions, my thoughts, my feedback on the game. We have a lot to talk about, so let's dive into it. First things first, is it fun? I just want to come straight out and say Battlefield 2042 is indeed a blast, especially if you're playing with friends. The amount of only in Battlefield moments I managed to capture was insane, but that's not to say the beta isn't without its major flaws. Let's talk about it. So I believe everyone is definitely going to have a good time with this beta, but I'm not going to lie. This thing is extremely rough around the edges. Like, the fun factor is there, but it feels like DICE needs to keep this bad boy in the oven for a little bit longer. The one saving grace is that this build is months old, so I'm sure the team has gotten some things up to par with the allotted time frame, but I can't fully trust them, especially after publicly coming out and claiming that they were ahead of schedule when it came to the development of this game. The delay was definitely needed, and being that they're working under pandemic conditions, it seems like DICE didn't utilize that crunch time efficiently, with multiple DICE employees stating that working from home just isn't the same as buckling down and getting shit done in the office, which I can totally agree with. Like, working from home versus working in that office environment can definitely play a role in efficiency. We can't sit here and say that every employee was working tooth and nail to get this out every single day from home. That's just not the case. There's definitely going to be some days where some of them must have grabbed a cold one and turned on some Squid Games and knocked out for the night without getting much done. It shows in the polish of this beta. Now, let's talk about the polish. Well, to be honest, there's not much, because that's what betas are for. Testing out game mechanics and breaking things so we can give proper feedback to the devs so they can get this game all shiny and pristine like that new Bugatti you just bought off the lot for $5 million. But that's the thing. We all had Bugatti expectations for this game, but it feels more like we're getting Chevy with this build. And hopefully it's not going to be a tough road ahead. I'm being extremely optimistic when I say that, because the last good Battlefield launch we had was Battlefield 1. And speaking of older Battlefield titles, I want to talk about something that I haven't heard anyone speak on yet. That being the last time DICE had to develop a game on 2 separate generations of consoles was Battlefield 4. And we all know how that launch turned out. The immense undertaking of developing a next generation game on 5 different platforms, each having totally different gameplay experiences, must be daunting. I'm no game dev, but even I'm like hell no when it comes to that task. So, moving forward, mark my words. Undoubtedly, Battlefield 2042 is going to have a rocky launch. How rocky? Well, we're just going to have to see on launch day. So until then, let's move on over and talk about gunplay. Knocking out the elephant in the room, Battlefield's new Plus system is pretty awesome. I find myself utilizing it more times than none, but currently it's just presets and you're not able to customize it to your specific liking. But once we're able to see what all the attachments are like in the game and fine tune it specifically to our liking, I see this as a benefit rather than a gimmicky mechanic. As for the gunplay itself, well, it feels extremely inconsistent, being that one, someone at DICE had the bright idea to have these new specialists all look the exact same with no way to differentiate the US and Russian factions. I mean, come on. That's the easiest layup in history, yet DICE missed the wide open fast break, and we all know why. Microtransactions. But back to the gunplay. I'm finding myself enjoying it a lot, but it took me a while to find my groove. You're really going to need to fine tune your settings, and there are a lot of settings, almost an overwhelming amount that I'm sure a lot of players will be tuning without even actually understanding what everything properly does. The TTK feels pretty inconsistent, being that ops can now bring in armor. I'm not going to discuss that in full in this video because I'll make a separate one expressing my concerns on that in the future, but the bullet damage drop off is extreme. I found myself having to land an unfathomable amount of shots at distance just to tickle someone's jimmies. Pause. You know what I mean. Damage drop off mixed with the slow bullet velocity makes for an inconsistent experience that I like for them to fine tune before launch. The weapon balancing needs a little bit of work as well. I've been consistently dropping boots on the ground 40 bombs with the K30 submachine gun hip fire and movement will be king. And speaking of movement, I'm happy to say that it's pretty fluent. Everything feels crisp and responsive overall. Moving on over to performance, DICE is going to have to get this right before launch. I'm rocking a 1080 Ti Ryzen 9 3900X with 16 gigabytes of RAM, playing on a 1440p monitor, and my frames are extremely inconsistent, ranging from 60 to 100, but dropping or fluctuating constantly. I'm going to be trying this out on my second build tomorrow when the beta goes open publicly on the 8th. That build is toting a 3080 Ryzen 9 5900X and 16 gigabytes of RAM, also playing on a 1440p monitor. I have plenty faith that DICE will iron out the performance of the game before launch. The netcode will be extremely important as well, being that sometimes it feels like my bullets aren't registering properly, so we'll have to just wait and see on that as well. Overall, I say I'm in between with this build. I'm enjoying playing something new, but I'm not sure if this was the Battlefield that the veterans truly wanted. Sound off in the comments below and let me know what you guys think. Are you guys enjoying this build? Are you guys waiting for Modern Warfare 2022? Do you guys think this game needs more time in the baker? Will you be playing this at launch? I'm very interested in reading everyone's experiences so far. Also, if you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. We'll be covering all the latest Battlefield news on the road to release. Also, we'll be making guides for new and veteran players as well as gameplay highlights. If you want to check me out live, my Twitch link will be in the description below, as well as the Discord link. I'd love for you to stop by and say hello, and until the next video, guys, Senpai out. Later.
Senpai.